Africa is buzzing. By 2050, a quarter of the world's people will be African. That's a lot of people. And guess what? They're young, they're connected, and they're ready to spend. We're talking about a projected 1.8 billion consumers with growing incomes. This isn't just a demographic shift, it's an economic earthquake waiting to happen. Forget the stereotypes. Africa isn't just about safaris and poverty. It's about a new generation of entrepreneurs, innovators, and dreamers. They're building businesses, creating apps, and challenging the old ways of doing things. This new Africa is young, dynamic, and digitally savvy. They're not waiting for handouts, they're building their own future. And that future looks bright. Think about it. A continent full of young people with increasing purchasing power. This is a market that businesses can't ignore. And investors are taking notice. From tech startups to infrastructure projects, the opportunities in Africa are endless. Hold on to your hats, folks, because Africa's economy is on the move. We're talking about the second fastest growing region in the world. That's right, second only to Asia. What's driving this growth? Well, it's a combination of factors. Firstly, there's a young and growing population with increasing spending power. Secondly, countries are implementing smarter economic policies, creating a more favorable environment for businesses to thrive. And let's not forget about the role of technology. From mobile money to e-commerce, technology is transforming the way Africans live, work, and do business. This digital revolution is opening up new opportunities, connecting people, and driving economic growth. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the lives being changed. It's about the young entrepreneur in Lagos who just secured funding for her tech startup. It's about the single mother in Nairobi who can now feed her family because of her mobile money business. Let's talk tech, baby. Africa is witnessing a digital revolution and it's transforming the continent at lightning speed. We're not just talking about fancy smartphones, although there are plenty of those too. We're talking about the power of technology to connect people, empower businesses, and drive economic growth. Mobile money, for example, has been a game changer. In many parts of Africa, traditional banking systems are limited. But with mobile money, people can send and receive money, pay bills, and even access financial services, all using their mobile phones. And let's not forget about the booming tech hubs popping up across the continent. From Lagos to Nairobi to Cape Town, these hubs are nurturing a new generation of tech innovators and entrepreneurs. These hubs are more than just co-working spaces. They are vibrant ecosystems where talent meets opportunity. They are breeding grounds for innovation, attracting investment, and creating jobs. Move over Tokyo. There's a new wave of urbanization sweeping the globe, and it's happening in Africa. Cities across the continent are expanding at an unprecedented rate. Now, before you picture towering skyscrapers and futuristic skylines, let's keep it real. African urbanization is different. It's more about informal settlements, bustling markets, and a vibrant street culture. But this rapid urbanization presents both opportunities and challenges. On the one hand, urbanization drives economic growth. Cities attract investment, create jobs, and become centers of innovation and entrepreneurship. On the other hand, rapid urbanization also puts a strain on infrastructure, housing, and social services. This is where governments and urban planners need to step up their game. They need to find creative solutions to provide affordable housing, improve infrastructure, and create opportunities for all citizens. Section 5, the power within untapped resources driving progress. So, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather the continent full of elephants, and diamonds, and oil, and gold, and, well, you get the picture. Africa is incredibly rich in natural resources. We're talking about a treasure trove of minerals, energy resources, and arable land. For too long, these resources have been exploited, leaving Africa with little to show for its own wealth. But things are changing. African nations are realizing the value of their resources and demanding a fairer deal. They're investing in infrastructure, adding value to raw materials, and creating jobs locally. But it's not just about extracting resources and selling them off. It's about using these resources to fuel sustainable development. It's about creating a virtuous cycle where resource wealth translates into better education, healthcare, and infrastructure for all. Section 6, a bumpy road ahead, challenges on the path to prosperity. Okay, let's get real for a minute. While Africa's economic rise is exciting, let's not sugarcoat things. The continent faces some serious challenges. Poverty, inequality, and corruption are still major obstacles. Many people work in the informal economy, lacking access to social safety nets and basic services. Infrastructure from roads to electricity remains inadequate in many areas. And let's not forget about the impact of climate change, which is already being felt across the continent. But instead of getting discouraged, let's view these challenges as opportunities. Opportunities for innovation, for collaboration, and for creating a more sustainable and equitable future. It's about investing in education and skills development, creating a more business-friendly environment, and tackling corruption head-on. Section 7. The Handshake of Nations. Foreign investments and their influence. When it comes to foreign investment, Africa has become the belle of the ball. Everyone wants a piece of the action. From the United States to Europe to Asia, investors are pouring money into the continent. Now, foreign investment can be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it can bring much-needed capital, create jobs, and boost economic growth. On the other hand, it can also lead to exploitation, environmental degradation, and a loss of control over resources. The key is for African nations to be savvy negotiators. They need to attract investments that are mutually beneficial, investments that create jobs, transfer technology, and promote sustainable development. It's about ensuring that foreign investment benefits all Africans, not just a select few. Section 8. The Dragon's Footprint. China's growing presence in Africa. Let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the dragon in the room. China's presence in Africa is undeniable. From infrastructure projects to trade deals, China is investing heavily in the continent. Now, this has sparked a lot of debate. Some see it as a new form of colonialism, while others view it as an opportunity for mutually beneficial partnerships. The truth, as always, is probably somewhere in between. China's involvement in Africa is complex and multifaceted. It's about securing resources, expanding its geopolitical influence, and tapping into new markets. But it's also about creating jobs, building infrastructure, and fostering economic development. The key is for African nations to engage with China from a position of strength. It's about negotiating fair deals, ensuring transparency and accountability, and prioritizing their own long-term interests. Section 9. A future forged together towards sustainable and inclusive growth. Africa's economic rise is a story of hope, resilience, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. But it's a story that's still being written. The choices made today will determine the continent's future. The path forward is clear. It's about investing in people, education, and healthcare. It's about creating jobs, promoting entrepreneurship, and building a more diversified and resilient economy. It's about good governance, transparency, and accountability. It's about embracing technology, fostering innovation, and harnessing the power of the digital revolution. And it's about international cooperation, fair trade, and mutually beneficial partnerships. Africa's success is not a foregone conclusion. It will require hard work, determination, and a collective effort from governments, businesses, and citizens alike. These are some of points about African economic booms. I hope you liked it. If so, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.